Yo. Oh, I didn't know. Like you said we couldn't show
I,
ourselves, so I
I
figured
have
we
a
also
new
couldn't
mic.
speak.
Hope I sound good. No, you sound good. You sound fine. My internet feels like it's been wonky lately. I actually been meaning to call them.
I thought it looked fantastic. Everything was really good until you heard Chris Pratt.
I've been hearing that. I've been hearing that a lot.
And I mean that is, and I think anyone in the Mario seat would have had to go through some type of scrutiny. The fact that it's Chris Pratt is just as Chris Pratt, you know. I
Yeah.
think the fact that he took the role on is respectful. So I'm just joking. I actually was interested to hear Charlie Day as Luigi more, but I guess I'm just have to wait for that. And we gotta get more of that Jack
I
Black
know.
fervor, baby.
I know the actual voice actor for Mario is in the movie. I just don't know for what. Because when they first announced the movie and they announced Chris Pratt as Mario, they did make sure to kind of say that the actual voice actor was going to be in the movie.
Mm.
So I got a feeling. I got a feeling it's going to be like some type of cameo, like Stanley cameo or something. It would be cool if they did what Sonic did when what's his face went into like a mushroom world. If Sonic finds like a ring, a golden ring or something, that would be dope.
You agree?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it does
Yeah,
look
no.
good.
That I mean, when I saw the castle drop down, I was like, "Oh my!" I mean, you heard that? I was like, "Oh my gosh, this looks so good!" And then the penguins.
I love,
They
I
got
love, I love that the penguins were in there, and that they got like just like slammed. They did. I freaking love that King's like that was just a taste of our fury.
yeah. You gotta keep it.
made this kingdom. He's still getting thrown around. Look at that. Nothing's changed. Nothing's changed. I mean, my thing is the fact that it's an animated movie is already a good
Yeah.
sign. The fact that they
Yeah.
didn't try that too, but the fact that they didn't try to live action that was already a good sign. Like they learned from their past mistakes. Though I would still argue the first Super Mario movie is not as bad as people say.
It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad.
But there's bad good movies. Street Fighter was good. Super Mario was bad, but it's a bad good movie. Street Fighter is good. It's not bad. Yeah.
Okay, the difference, if we're going off on this brief tangent, the difference between the Street Fighter movie live action and the Mario live action was that Street Fighter at least incorporated 70 to 80% of what the game was about. And the Mario movie was like someone heard that was really cool game by his 5-year-old, asked him to describe it, and then went and hit some LSD and made a script. You know?
Have you not seen the Super Mario TV show, bro?
It certainly helps me. Yeah.
Mario be on it, bro. Mario be on. I don't know what y'all talking
That's
about.
what I'm saying,
That
but I do agree
truth.
with trying a live action Mario wouldn't have done near as well. And this looks fantastic. If this is Nintendo's way of hinting a Mario Breath of the Wild-esque game, you know, that's hilarious, but let's go, you know? Like, oh yeah. Oh god, yeah, it looks so good.
Yeah.
Is it sad that out of all the games for Nintendo, this was the first one to use the Unreal Engine? Like, can you imagine? Like,
Yeah.
I'm definitely.
I mean, I would agree with the Mario voice, Chris Pratt. Like I didn't hate it. Like when I first Isaac's been muted the entire time. Look at that.
I am.
Look at that.
I didn't even
Way to
notice that.
screw up-
I
way
didn't
to
even notice
screw
that.
up the show, bro.
Good job.
Wait, but they can still hear me, right?
Yeah,
Like,
no, they can still hear you guys. They can still hear you guys. All right, just a quick rundown of what I said on everything. Yeah, just a quick rundown of what I said. Was the movie looks great. Chris Pratt. I hope he works out well. The movie looks phenomenal. I hope it ties into. I hope it forces them to make a new console. That way we get graphics like this as a video game. And yeah, wow, that was a bummer. Twan, look good looking out. Zombie, how you doing, man? Bowser was done.
So my thing is hearing his voice. It was a little off-putting. But I kind of have to agree with Jeremiah. Anyone's voice that was going to fill that shoes was probably going to be off-putting at first.
No, hey, Sans the original voice actor. If the original voice actor would have jumped up and taken it, it's like,
well,
okay.
I mean, that's what we were all expecting, which we all knew was going to happen because when they first announced the movie, they made it clear that they weren't going to do the original voice actor, that they're going a different direction.
No, you know who would have been better?
But we still were wishing for it.
You know who would have been better? Danny DeVito. Enough said.
What if they were to go get the old
I'm not
actors from the
opposed to
live action
that.
Mario Brothers and have them voice the brothers?
I'm not opposed to that either.
Well,
I like both these ideas.
Well, I think the guy that played Mario in the Mario in the Mario Bros. Movie is dead.
No, he's still alive.
No, I think he's dead.
Is he? He must have died recently.
Nah, I could be wrong. I don't know. But anyways,
how much funnier it could be if we if we had like Samuel L. Jackson and Idris Elba or something. That would be great.
Idris Elba as Knuckles is phenomenal. I found that Chris Pratt voice coming out of Mario. Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier, Zombie Killer. I was saying that Mario sounds like Chris Pratt trying to do a Mario impression and not so much Mario. But all right. I guess we could go on to the next topic, right, fellas?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Oh, Isaac's right. The dude did die.
Yeah.
He died like 8 years ago.
Yes, sure. Yes. May God rest his soul.
Yeah.
All right. So now this is the big deal right here. Right? Resident Evil tier list, fellas. Now earlier,
Isaac's gonna have most insight because he's played all of these. We haven't.
Well, you played.
I've never even played Resident Evil.
No, there's a couple games I'll be good with. But earlier I was talking to Juicy, and so we know there's more Resident Evil games, but those other games we never played, or I personally didn't play. Juicy J himself said he didn't really play them either. Jacob,
these are the main ones anyway.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. The main core ones. So I'm gonna name them, of course. And what's cool is that they have the same game, but the two variations. You know, like they have the vintage Resident Evil and then the Resident Evil remake on the GameCube. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and, which I mean are still different games. Like I've heard people say they are still different.
Yeah, of course. So let's start off right off the bat, shall we, fellas? You ready?
Okay.
All right, Resident Evil 0. Jacob,
he's on.
I feel like you're the champion.
Yep. No, that's an A. That's an A for me.
Yeah, it's an A. Can you elaborate?
I mean, I love the. Okay, so the gameplay, the feel is a little weird at first, but once you get used to it, I really enjoyed it. Because it gave extra suspense. The fact that you can't really move the camera well, you don't know what you're about to hit around that corner, I really enjoyed. I felt it ran good. It wasn't too tedious. And the story was good. I like how it went well with the first one. Resident Evil, just plain Resident Evil. So to me, that's an A.
Juicy J.
It's not one of my favorites. It wasn't bad. I wasn't the biggest fan of the Resident Evil series itself, you know. Or rather, it didn't really catch my eye as much as other things.
Why are you here, Jeremiah? Why are you here? Quit wasting our time.
Yeah, you're right. I shouldn't even be here.
Go ahead, big fella. We love you.
But that being said, it was a very suspenseful game. Like it certainly had the chilling aspect of it, the survival aspect of it. I can agree with an A. I'd say B or A. You know.
I already know.
Compared to other ones I feel are better, it's like once I put them next to there, it's like, you know, this ain't even glittering, you know.
What's my pick?
It's not bad.
What's my pick?
You're probably gonna put it as a C.
A C? No.
A C.
No, I'm not gonna put it as a C.
Okay. We're going for a D then.
No. So Resident Evil 0 is a game I didn't beat, but I did enjoy. I like the train. Like the fact that you start off in a train, which is a tight corridors, you know, and you got zombies coming from everywhere. And me being a person that never really played tank controls, it made it kind of scary. You know, I was like, holy crap.
Can I ask? You enjoyed it the second time you played it, because the first time you played it, you hated it. So was the second time playing it a lot better because one, you're used to it, and two, you didn't have Angel yelling at your ear?
That did help. That did help, actually. Yeah.
Because the first time you played, I remember you calling me, just ranted to me how it was a terrible game, and I'm over here trying to justify like it's not that bad. So I'm actually happy to hear you actually liked it the second time around.
Yeah, and then my only gripe really with it, outside of the controls, is the fact that you had to drop like there wasn't a chest to put your items in. Like you had to leave it inside of the lobby area, right? And then go out and do whatever you got to do, and come back and like. I get why they did it in a sense because it lets you backtrack and it extends the gameplay time. But that was one of the things that was annoying for me. But regardless, I thought Billy was a cool character. I thought he was I thought he was pretty awesome. And I'm kind of nostalgic because I remember I used to watch one of my best friends play it when we were kids. Yeah, and I remember he had nightmares from it. But yeah, no. So this game, I would give it a B.
Like I said, like the other thing was like the puzzles just weren't. I just didn't feel like there's a lot of variety, I guess, compared. But I mean, it's a me thing.
Yeah. So we're going. So Juicy.
So 2 B's in the A.
2 B's in the A. So we'll put that a B. Okay. Respectable. Yeah, I think that's respectable.
Yeah. It's respectable though. Yeah, like I still think it was great. It kept the. Yeah, so.
All right, fellas. So let's go on to the very first Biohazard game, Resident Evil, on the PlayStation. Jacob, okay. I feel like
I'm gonna get a lot of hate for this. I already know it, because I only played the actual game once, and I don't remember. I think our Uncle Juan had it.
Yeah,
and I played it for a little bit. So that was my only interaction with it, and I hated it. But playing the GameCube one, I really enjoyed the GameCube, and so I know there's a lot of similarities, but also know there's a lot of differences. I'm gonna put it, just because out of respect, a B.
A B. Okay. GCJ?
I agree.
B? I agree.
Yeah, so if you asked me about this game and it didn't have any other iterations come out, obviously it would have been a top tier. It would have been like, but like I said, kind of like Zero, compared to other games in the series I have a little more respect for. It's like, like I respect how it came out. Obviously it did something nothing else did. But I'd say B.
Yeah, and my thing is, and I know a lot of people might be upset about it, but here's my thing: like, if I can get it and replay it, I will, and that might change it. But for what little interactions I had with it, I wasn't the biggest fan of. Of course, this was when I was still getting used to those controls. It felt clunky at times for me. And so I'm putting that B because I know what it's done. And I know it's still considered one of the best games. I just, for my nostalgic period, I can't put it any higher.
Okay. So before I give my grade on it, I just want to chat a little bit real quick, if you guys don't mind. Zombie Killer says, my opinion, Resident Evil 2 Remake is top tier. Work in progress, all games S tier. Zombie, by the way, I pre-ordered Windows expansion and RE8 yesterday, and ordered a physical copy of RE8 as well. Nice. I actually got that pre-ordered also. Billy is Nemesis, says Mr. Whip. And then Zombie Killer, like me, is not a fan of the tank controls in those original games. All right,
that's fair. I'm not gonna hate on that.
For me, I never played the first Resident Evil, but I've watched gameplays of it, like speedruns and just traditional playthroughs, and I'm gonna give it an A, bro. I kind of like it. Like, granted, I didn't play it, I watched it, but another thing that it really helped out in the horror game genre.
It did.
Yeah, so I want to give it an A, but you two boys gave it B, so we'll put it at a B.
Yeah, I mean that, and I mean you can't really fully say either if you haven't even touched it, but I see where you're coming from.
Yeah. So Resident Evil 2. Oh
well, are we gonna go to the remake of Resident Evil?
So we're doing the remake first. So that puts you to the side from right now. Juicy, did you play Resident Evil 2?
No, I mean, we're not going to cover the first Resident Evil remake for GameCube?
Oh, that's last on the list.
Why?
Okay,
you know what? Talk about it now.
Okay, then talk about it now. Okay, I talk about it now, bro. Go ahead. Resident Evil on the GameCube. Go for it.
Because the remake for me is S tier. Like that is what like made me fall in love with the franchise. Like it wasn't the first Resident Evil game I played. Like, well, the original PS1 was, but I didn't really play it. But Resident Evil 4 was the first one I actually played through. But Resident Evil 1 remake is the one that actually made me fall in love with the franchise. And the controls are just like Resident Evil 0. I get that. But the story, the suspense, the gameplay is just top notch. And so for me, that's an S all the way.
Juicy?
I didn't play the remake, so I'm gonna say B.
You whore.
You didn't play, so we'll just negate that for now. Yeah. But for me, Resident Evil, I played it. I played a little bit, and again, the tank controls kind of screwed me. But I did still like the game though. I just enjoyed watching my buddy play it, and then watching Angel play it as well. And the game itself, the fact that you're in the because what's it called? I'm drawing a blank here, Jacob. Where's the scenery at? I'm drawing a blank right now.
What, the mansion?
Yeah, Spencer's mansion. Yeah, I kind of like that. Like the mansion, because Zombie talked about this yesterday, or the other day I was streaming. He was like, "What's more iconic, the police station or the mansion?" And I personally say the mansion.
The mansion.
And I'll put it at an S. I think it deserves it. It did it well. Because it did well.
If you wouldn't put it an S, I was actually about to call for a vote from the chat. Because S. But we're good. We're good.
Yeah, no, it's a good game. It's a good game. It's a good game. Now, Resident Evil 2, the first one, non-remake, and Whip even agrees it's an S.
Thank you.
But Resident Evil 2, Jacob, you played this firsthand, I believe?
No, I played Resident Evil 3. I never got to. I've always wanted to.
You never got to?
I never got to. I've always wanted to. But I've seen walkthroughs, let's plays of it.
Okay.
And honestly, dude, I would put, from what I've seen and from what I've heard people praise it, like, it deserves all the praise. I'll give it an S.
GCJ?
S all the way, bro. Like that, the upgrade from the first one to the second one, it looked fantastic. It cemented the fact that
wait. We're talking about Resident Evil 2, the basic one, not the remake.
Yeah, the basic.
Oh no,
one,
I'm still talking about that. Compared to the first one, it was fantastic.
Okay.
So I'm saying S. That literally, if it wasn't, I feel like if it wasn't for Resident Evil 2, it wouldn't have pushed itself like Dynasty Warriors to be like on Resident Evil 9.
Need I see more? I'm gonna put it at S tier as well, because it's very rare when a sequel, in my opinion, does better than the first game. And like they got it done right. They did a good job. And my experience with that,
I'm not gonna disagree with that. It did do better. Like that, I can't say it's a better game, but I know it did better.
Yeah. No. So this game, I played it at our cousin's house, and I remember being terrified because I was a kid. He hit start, and then I remember just being Leon Kennedy surrounded by fire with zombies walking at me, and I'm just like, oh my god, where the hell do I go? But then watching him play, and then I got to play a little bit myself. I was like, this is a pretty good game. I like it. It's good. It's real good. Now, Resident Evil 2 Remake.
Haven't played. So this is gonna be all you.
Juicy, you played it?
No, I didn't play the remake.
All right, so this is on me. This is on me. Okay, and I'm gonna explain it to you guys, and then
All
and then chat.
I want to hear what the
chat. You know, help me out here.
Like part of me feels like work in progress just needs to be in here because I mean this man has.
You want him in here? Get him in here. Whip, you want to get in this? Get him in here, bro. Get him in here. While we work on getting Whip in here, we'll let me talk about RE2, right? So, Resident Evil 2, the remake, was the first time I legitimately played Resident Evil 2, right? Like, and before I played it, I didn't watch any playthroughs. I didn't watch anything. I don't want to spoil it for myself, even though it is a very old game, and I get that. But when it comes to remakes, things change. And one thing I always heard about that game, it was like, because people would ask, should I play the first RE2 and then this one so I could appreciate it more? And they're like, no. This game, this remake did it so right. You could play this and still feel like you played the classic one.
This one though did cut out pieces.
No. That's the Resident Evil. We'll get to that one. This one,
wrong one then. Okay.
Yeah, this one they cut out some pieces, but they said nothing that ruined the story. Like nothing that ruined the game itself. They and me as like when I played it, I loved it. Right, I loved it. The one thing that kind of threw me off, which I understood why it was that way, because back in the day, you want games to last, right? You don't want to give a gamer 2 hours worth of gameplay. So what do? You put a lot of puzzles, a lot of backtracking, and then you have Leon A, Claire B, then Claire A, and then Leon B. You know, it gives you variety on how to play the game. That way you get like maybe 30, 40 hours worth of gameplay out of it. So for me, I mean, that kind of got a little exhausting, all the backtracking, but it didn't ruin it for me. And for me personally, I want to give it an A. I know people in the chat are putting S tier, but I think Resident Evil 2 remake.
No, that's S.
There he is. What's up, man?
Yeah, I got like 5 minutes, so like get as much opinion out of me as you can in the next 5 minutes.
Okay, so let's get your impression on why is it an S in your opinion?
It's so good. It's so good.
There we go. That's S tier. Booyah.
Like Mr. X chasing you around.
Oh yeah, he's.
It's so beautiful too. Like it's a really beautiful looking game. I don't know. It's so good. It took me back. It took me back to when I was 13 years old. I think younger actually when I first played it. And yeah, it's good times. S.
Let me see. I'll let the chat. I want to give it an A, but Epic Zombie gave it an S also, so I guess it goes to S tier.
All right, S tier.
So Whip, I want to respect your time.
Okay.
Okay.
What happened? Do you want me to? Do you want me to give a fire off of where I rank everything that's left?
Yeah, I was gonna say, let's respect your time. You like you said.
I'll say.
Is there anything you wouldn't put in it?
No, that was obvious in a joke. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. I'll name off the games. You just give us a letter, all right?
Okay.
Vintage Resident Evil 3.
Vintage Resident Evil 3, A+, not quite an S.
Okay. Resident Evil 3 remake.
Resident Evil 3 remake B.
Okay. I mean, do I really need to say Resident Evil 4? Like, it's God tier.
Resident Evil 4 is S to 1,000,000,000%.
Okay, I was about to say.
Yeah.
5. Resident Evil 5.
Resident Evil 5 is an A if you're playing with somebody. C if you're not.
Oh, okay.
Spicy.
That is spicy.
Okay.
Resident Evil 6.
Resident Evil 6. I personally love. If I had to be critical about it, I'd give it a C.
Okay.
Okay.
Resident Evil 7.
Hold on. I have to ask. On Resident Evil 6. because you made a distinction with 5. So is Resident Evil 6 a C even with a buddy?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
alright. Resident Evil 7.
But I liked Resident Evil 6. I think Jake's campaign is the best. I think they should have made the whole game about Jake. Yeah, Resident Evil 6, I really liked it, but I can see why people didn't see across the board.
Okay. 7.
D. I didn't like it.
Okay. 8.
8 was a B because it actually felt like a Resident Evil game.
That's fair.
Okay. And Code Veronica X.
That is an A. That is A right there, man.
That is an A.
Like, yeah. So that's.
What was your 3 remake?
What did I give that? Did I give that a B? I
Yeah, to
gave
B.
that a B.
Yeah, to B. Yeah.
I want to take a list of it so I can refer back.
Alrighty.
Makes sense.
All right.
Right.
Well, sorry I couldn't be here longer. I'm waiting on a buddy of mine. So, but
Yeah.
enjoy the
You're
rest
good,
of your
bro.
show, and thanks for having me for this short period.
Hey,
of time.
thank you
Of
for giving
course,
us your
man.
time, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Of course. And
All
thanks,
right, I'll
thanks for
talk to you
stopping
guys
by. Later, man.
Later, man.
All right. Before we were rudely interrupted by this person called Whip, I'm just messing. Resident Evil 3 Nemesis, Jacob, go and have at it, brother.
Okay. What
And
did
Jeremy
Whip
vs.
give
CJ,
it?
go ahead. I'm just kidding.
What did Whip give it? He gave it a B or did A?
I think he gave it an A.
Jeremiah.
For 3, OG 3,
Yeah.
A+, not quite an S.
A plus. Oh, see, I was going to give it a B, and the reason being is it was good. I felt like I got more annoyed with the Nemesis interactions than anything. So I was going to give it a B, but I can see an A, but I'm going with B.
We're going with personal preference. You said B. GCJ, what you
I
got,
say
brother?
B.
So, I would, and I don't know if it's just because of the hype of 2 going into 3, you know?
Uh-huh.
I want to agree with an A, you know? Because, yeah, I mean, it's not going to meet exactly the impact that 2 had, you know? But it still was enjoyable, but I just don't, I mean, I can't tell you if that's just because I was riding the high of, hey, cool, you know? Like, we got another one, or not, so. But I'm going to give it an A.
Okay. That one I did not play. I watched a playthrough, but I'll leave it with you guys. So we'll put it at an A.
It's fine. Like I can see the argument for A. I'm not gonna like discredit it, so I'm cool with A.
No.
I'm just kind of heartbroken that 0 is B while 3 is A. But you know what? That's just my emotions. I'll get on their check. I'm sorry, guys.
You're fine.
Yep.
So Resident Evil 3 Remake. That's a game I'm currently live streaming, which I'm gonna continue live streaming shortly after this stream. But RE3 Remake. Jacob has not played it. Juicy J.
Nope.
RE3 Remake is a B.
A B, okay. Any reasons?
Actually,
or just
C.
A C, okay.
Just
Because
maybe it's because they're not. There's part of the reason why I say that it kind of the hype train was dead, you know, because like kind of seeing it without it being around everything else, like oh, it's just wasn't. It wasn't impactful to me, you know, and personally. So
yeah, for me, because I'm currently playing it, I'm having a good time with it. But like I said, from hearing what people say about it, like what they could like. Apparently, they cut out a lot of the missions within the game.
mm-hmm.
And instead of Nemesis being a Mr. X, he's used to progress the story. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
guess what? He doesn't have that same impact he does in Resident Evil 3 Nemesis, I guess you would say, right? And I'm having fun with it, but he was the he was that way in the OG too. Oh, he was? Okay, I guess he was. Jake.
I mean, that's why I didn't really like 3. I mean, 3 wasn't bad, but Nemesis kind of got tedious after a while. He got annoying.
So he followed you a lot.
Yeah, and it just I don't know.
So okay,
for me, I can see why some people loved it because it built suspense, and it was like, oh crap, you know. But to me, it felt like it made the story drag.
Yeah. Okay. Because because Whip says he's been like this since the OG, but I remember. I mean, I hear people complaining about it being like they're saying Nemesis is more of a cut scene and just shows up like he's scripted to show up to progress the story, not as much as spontaneous as they would like. But that's not the end of that. I don't know. I never played the regular.
I mean,
but for me, I would give it a B.
In the original, he would show up at certain times.
Okay.
And it was annoying. Like I remember one scene where I'm running through an alleyway and I just got done barely making it through zombies, and he just randomly just pops out of nowhere.
Okay. But regardless, I'm put it at a B.
That's fair.
All right. So I'm going to read the chat real quick. When you get Resident Evil, it's S. Zombie says, again, I love RE7. I got to give it respect for making me a fan. Wow. Okay, that's good. Resident Evil 7 is not a D. It's an S to me. It's again that made me a fan. Come on. Resident Evil 7 is good game, but not as good as not a good Resident Evil game, says Whip. Zombie Killer says Resident Evil 3 remake I'm not a fan of, and then Whip is correcting me. And then a Zombie Killer asked if I saw his comment, and yes, I did. I saw your comment.
Whip is correcting him. And for people catching this afterwards, make sure y'all catch us live. It's just a lot funner to engage with y'all.
Yeah, and leave comments also. I like that. I like to go back and read comments also to correct me. Like I'm not a Resident Evil enthusiast, I would say, but I am a fan. But then moving on.
I would say I was an enthusiast as much as I could be at the time. Like I said, I couldn't get in touch. I couldn't get a hold of 2. I've tried when I was younger. I think it was so expensive.
But you can get on the Switch for like $5 now.
Yeah, I know.
All right, so this does not need to be said. I'm just gonna put it up here and we'll move on. Okay.
Yeah, Resident Evil 4 S tier for those.
Actually, S tier is not even enough.
SS tier.
SS tier.
Bro, and this person has to just be doing it for clout, but I remember watching someone say that this was like one of the worst games, that Resident Evil 4 killed the franchise. And if you mean by kill as it being the greatest game and everything else fell inferior to it, then yeah.
Juan Hank says never played it. Got you, bro. You gotta. Twan, I know you be streaming Apex, bro. Every now and again, slide in some campaign games, some story-based games, man. Does the soul some good. All right, RE5. Okay, may I start this one, boys?
Go for it. Go for it.
RE5, man. Look, check this out. Listen. Going from 4 to 5. 5 was the first Resident Evil I owned. Right, I had my 360. I remember I was home alone, and I was just chilling, watching TV. Then RE5 trailer came on. And I remember I called my mom. I was like, Mom, remember that one time I got good grades? Want to buy me this game? And she was like, yeah, of course. I'll buy you this game. And I had a blast. I thought I thought the companion system was pretty cool, right? I didn't hate Chris yet. Chris was tolerable. He was a big muscle guy that couldn't open the fence until a little woman helped him push it. But this game solo, in my opinion, this game playing solo, which that's how I beat it the first time, was a B. When me and Jacob played it, it's an S.
Okay. Even through the rage, because you were so pissed at me.
Yes.
This was me still getting used to like shooters.
Yeah.
He was so mad at me. He had to carry the weight of that game. I did like Whip though, and with you too is like it does go on different scales compared to solo and co-op. For me, as a co-op, I'll put it as an A, but I can see the argument for an S, but I feel it's an A.
No, I just want to clarify.
Solo?
I just want to clarify.
Solo?
I just want to clarify real quick. Yes, I know Resident Evil 4 as an S, and like, there's no way Resident Evil 5 is an S. I'm saying in regards to my personal preference, playing co-op with my brother. That's what made it an S to me.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So I will put it as a 5, just as it's like just playing it as co-op. It was a 5. How well it ran, how fun it was. It was
5?
No, an A. It was an A. Sorry.
Okay.
It was an A. Playing this by myself felt pretty annoying. And so I'll give it a C.
I always had Shiva hang back. I'm like, wait. And I just went out there when guns are blazing. It was so much fun.
Yeah, I didn't enjoy playing by myself really. But it wasn't terrible. So I'll give it a C for solo, but an A for co-op.
GCJ?
So I only played 5 co-op. And I would have to say an A. I think it was still really good.
All right.
Go
with that. Toss that up there.
Yeah, I'm cool with an A. I can't speak on non-co-op, but I can remember a lot of criticism from Daniel. So it was not very fun. But with a friend, with a friend makes everything better.
Wait. Can I say something real quick?
Not sick, but
may I say something real quick? I forgot to say this. If you played this split screen, it's a D.
We did.
Because that was the stupidest. That was the stupidest way to do split screen. So guys, for those of you who didn't play split screen, you would think you have the top portion and the bottom portion, or at least the left and right. No. You had left and right, but your screen only took up the corner of the TV, while the other half of it was black. It was blacked out.
Mm-hmm.
And you're just like, why? I remember Jacob played it with his friend in college, and I thought that was the ugliest thing ever.
Yeah, it makes it hard to do anything, to see.
You can't
anything.
Yeah, that was terrible. You know what? That kind of.
But overall, A suits it fine.
RE6. I got words for this,
okay.
But GC, I'll let you go. I'll let you carry it.
Yeah, let Jeremiah go first. He hasn't gone first in a while.
So, just kind of as a look back, we have been giving these pretty decent scores. I'd say that 6 was the first one. I was like, oh, okay, we're over the top. Like if there was a thought as to something was downhill, this is it. I don't know. I didn't like it. I still want to give respect to, like, it's hard for me to give any of the Resident Evil games like a straight D, but this one's definitely up there for what we had versus what we were given, I'm just saying. And so I actually would give 6 a D.
Okay. Isaac, go ahead.
So again, me and Jacob had a blast playing RE5, and we had just as much fun playing RE6 online.
We did.
That being said, okay, if we're going for strictly entertainment and fun, that me and my brother had playing it, especially on the Chris missions, because literally that whole chapter with Chris was us just roasting the guy.
I took special delight because I remember having an argument with one of my college buddies about Leon versus Chris, and like, who would you rather team up with? And they were like, well, Chris, look how swole he is. Look at what he can do. I'm like, bro, you join Chris, you're gonna die. He's like, nah, bro, that's not how it goes. I'm like, bro, look at all the games,
the movies,
and then and the movies, and then 6 comes out, right? And you play Chris's story. Beautiful.
His partner kills himself to save Chris.
Bro,
his partner was gangster as hell, though. His boss.
There was a scene where his whole team got wiped out.
Yeah, but thank God he survived.
He let them in the building and trapped them, and they just got wiped out. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go back a little bit. So I think the biggest issue I had was 6. Right.
That Michael Bay made it.
Is it didn't really feel scary at all.
No. My complaint.
All this game.
Go ahead.
We lost that in 5. 5 was such a bright game. I guess is like the feel of 5 wasn't necessarily scary. A little bit of suspense, but we're losing the scary aspect. That Resident Evil had come to encompass.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And by the time we got to 6, though, it was like it's not a zombie game. It's not a scary game.
Leon Kennedy's was
a survive. It was more a survivor shooter game.
No, it was Call of Duty, bro. It was Call of Duty with.
Yeah, I was like, no, this felt more like an action game.
Here's my complaints with this game. The weapon mechanics, like to upgrade your weapon, sucked. Like the whole inventory system sucked. The gameplay sucked. The enemies, like the zombies or the monsters, the bio weapons sucked. Like nothing about the game was memorable outside of just a few points in the game, but that game was very forgetful. So I'm gonna give it a D, and that's even with me and Jacob having a blast with it.
Okay, so I gotta disagree with Isaac. This game was very memorable for me. I freaking enjoyed this game. I'm giving it a B, and the reason I'm giving it a B is because if you take it out of a Resident Evil game, it's actually not that bad. I respect what they were trying to do.
Oh yeah,
they're trying to get all these different storylines and mesh them together. But my biggest thing, and this is just personal preference, this isn't like a solid fact about the game, but the fact that I could shut my homeboy up and just show him that scene and just cement how terrible Chris Redfield is as a character. Loved it.
Okay, so let me get this straight. In a Resident Evil tier list of how Resident Evil and good it is, if we ignore the fact that it's a Resident Evil game, it should be better than what it is.
Yes.
I'm sorry,
yes.
bro. Like it's a D. So all I heard from that was it's a D, unless I ignore the fact that it's part of the Resident Evil franchise.
Right.
It was fun. It was fun. It was terrible, but it was fun.
It was
at least put it as a C then.
Chat, type A, B, C, or D. Just whatever you got. Whatever I see first, that's where I'll put it. So you can put an S, and I'll put it on S just to be a dick. But then,
Whip said C. If Jacob says C, or he says B, I mean,
it's a D. It's a D, man.
What did Whip say?
I don't see what.
Whip C.
Whip says C. Okay. How about Zombie Killer?
Yeah, C regardless of the co-op.
Well, Zombies never played it, but he heard it was terrible.
Oh. Okay. Saturday.
Hey, let's play a game. Ask my wife, who knows nothing about the conversation, to pick a letter between A and D.
Tabby, pick a letter between A and D.
Tabby! Pick a letter between A and D.
B.
Okay, she said B.
Alright, C it is. We'll put that a C. We'll show mercy. Alright, Resident Evil Village. Or not Village, Resident Evil 7, I mean. Jacob, take a step back.
No, I played the first 20 minutes of the game.
Oh, okay.
And just from playing that, I know this sounds stupid because Resident Evil is the original, but it gave me Evil Within vibes, which I really loved. It also felt like they were going back to their old ways. Like they looked at 5, and 5 was kind of like them going downhill a little bit. 6 was a complete drop off, and then this was like, okay, we're trying to make it better. And so for the 20 minutes I played, I really enjoyed it. So I would give it I'll give it a B because I only played 20 minutes of it.
Okay. So Whip before he left, he said he didn't like 7 because it didn't feel like he said he didn't. Yeah, he said he didn't feel like it felt like a Resident Evil game. But honestly, to me, yeah, it may have not felt like a traditional Resident Evil game, but you could play that and know you're playing a Resident Evil game. It was one of those situations where they took the game, looked at it, saw what they had with 6, and like Jacob was saying, with 5, because they realized we're getting away from the horror aspect of Resident Evil. We're getting more and more into the guns. Like, granted, RE4 had the perfect balance of guns and horror, and it's hard to duplicate that, right?
Yeah. Which is why I kind of agree with that TikTok there in the sense, like Resident Evil 4 did kind of kill the franchise because how good it just was.
Yeah, for sure. Mm-hmm. But RE7, in my opinion, it put this game put Capcom back on top because Capcom was struggling for a minute. I mean, granted, they did have Monster Hunter, which actually helped them a lot, right? That boosted them a lot. Because, Street Fighter V was going down here. But RE7 was like, you know what? We'll have guns in this game, but we just want the horror aspect to be there. That's what we want. We want it to be scary. And you know what makes it even scarier? By making it first person. Also giving you a new hero, a new protagonist. And in a way, you know how you had the Spencer Mansion? You're kind of in a Baker Mansion. Like, you're out there in Louisiana in a freaking bayou, Like, they have a giant house, and it really goes back to its roots. So for me, I don't agree with it not feeling like Resident Evil game. If anything, this was like a love letter to Resident Evil. Saying, like, I'm sorry for how I treated you.
I'm not going to disagree with Whip on that because I do kind of agree with them. It doesn't feel like a Resident Evil game, but to me that's okay because Resident Evil's whole point was to encompass horror, and that's what this game did.
Oh yeah. So for me, I'm gonna give this game a solid A.
And that's Jeremiah's, people. Cool.
Yeah. Jeremiah gives answer.
For me, I was just waiting. I was like, okay, so I like that they went back to the suspense, to the horror aspect of it. I feel like it wasn't the exact same, but I also tried to give it the benefit of the doubt. There, you're not going to be the original. And like you had said earlier, you're not going to be 4, After 5 and 6, you just have to agree with that. Like, it's not going to be,
Yeah.
I'd say B. In the middle with a B. I liked some aspects of it, didn't like others. The unkillable enemies, kind of like, the consistency,
Well, unkillable enemies.
I love the aesthetics. I loved how it looked. I love how it felt. How would I put it? So, like, you're going back to 6. You got a gun in your hand. You feel like you're on top of the world, right?
And
in this game, it's like getting a gun kind of changed nothing.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to explain it. Really, it's
must have been really good.
Deep in crap. It's just you happen to remember to wear socks,
Yeah.
Even when I had a gun, I still that changed nothing for me in any of the games.
Yeah, like it's just like So I'd say a B. I think B.
Okay.
Yeah, trying to keep it apart from we Flowers of Algernon to ourselves, guys.
I will say,
and that's just how it is.
When you say unkillable enemies, what are you talking about?
So the big dude.
And that was his whole persona. Immortal Jack. That was his whole persona. Like, okay, I mean, you do kill him. Like, it was part of the DLC. You play as his brother, but I'm not thinking about it. I still gonna keep it at an A, and Zombie Killer puts it at an A, so I guess that kind of outvotes you. But the one complaint I have is the lack of enemies outside of the fungus. Because you're either fighting a skinny fungus, a crawling fungus, or a fat fungus. You know what I mean? So that kind of sucked. I wish there was more of an enemy variety.
I think maybe that's the other thing too. Like, because of the fungus things, it's like It's not like leading. What would it be like? Like there were a lot of jump scares in the original games, you know.
Well, this one kind of has
some
too.
Kind of like, oh, well, shit's about to go down over here, down this hallway. You know, it's like, oh, it's about to go down. You know, it's like,
the motive,
and that's what I want from Resident Evil. You know?
Well, I mean, there's moments where you're fighting when you're fighting the wife. How like there's a moment where you're climbing up the stairs and she just breaks through and tries to grab you with her long arms, or like. There's if you haven't played it, I highly recommend it. It's a really good game. Resident Evil Village. Juicy, have you played it?
I will tell you, I have not played 8, but I have watched the entire. It was cinematically, it was beautiful, and so I think it's really good. Personally, I thought it was really good. I know people had a lot of opinions about it, you know. But I actually thought it looked stellar. It was a pretty interesting story, you know. It still brings the whole unkillable. She can't kill the madam, you know. She's like chasing it through rooms and stuff, you know.
But well, you kill her at the boss fight.
Yeah, she's a boss fight at the end, but I guess I'm cool with it whenever you're like a hot goth mommy. So
at the same time, you like Mr. X, so you liked Mr. X, so she roams the halls like Mr. X did in Resident Evil 2. But
I think it's an A. I think it was pretty good. I think it was better than what people gave credit for.
I will give it. So I enjoyed the game. They improved on a lot of things. They did a lot of callbacks, you know, especially with the whole merchant, you know, upgrades, the weapons, the combat. The story was phenomenal, but the game wasn't scary. The game wasn't scary, and that's due to them saying they heard people talking about they couldn't beat 7 because they got too scared. And they're like, well, we want people to beat this game, so we're not going to make it as scary as we did with 7. I'm like, why? You had it right. And
leave the weak behind.
Literally, like your heart, because that gave me the vibe of fighting games. Not to get off topic, like they put auto combos and made fighting games easier. That way they can have a bigger demographic. Not knowing, even then they're not gonna stay playing that. They're not gonna dedicate to it, which is why now fighting games now are going back to how they were. Granted, still a little easier than it was in the past, but they're not catering too much to the average gamer as much as they once did. And I feel like with Village, that was Capcom kind of doing it with Resident Evil. Like there was rarely any moments where it was nighttime. You've killed Lycans. I will say, when you fight the 4 lords and you go to their areas, it's kind of cool. Like the factory or the dollhouse was kind of intimidating. You know, those were they were fun, but there wasn't a moment in that game where I was terrified. Like I just felt like I was just running through a game. And it was still a very fun game and I enjoyed it, but there was nothing scary about it. So that being said, I will put it at a B.
Yeah.
So I know nothing of the game except all the memes of the goth chick.
Mommy?
Yeah. And the sisters.
How everybody was like so infatuated with how she looked.
With goth mommy?
Oh yeah, I forgot the DLC is gonna put 3rd-person mode in Village, so that should be interesting. So
I know nothing of it.
I give it a B. Oh, what you said, Jacob?
I mean, I'm just whatever y'all pick.
It's gonna be so. I say B. Zombie says S. Juice says A. So we'll put it at A. And that's it, guys. That's our tier list. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure to like, subscribe. You know, Jacob.
But what about Code Veronica X?
Oh, I didn't even see that there. I didn't see that there. I think I know where that goes. There we go. All right. So. Jacob, go ahead and take it away, bro. Where does Code Veronica X go?
I don't know, dude. I never got a chance to fully play it. I played like 10 minutes of it, and then my disc didn't read, and I had to take it back.
Pain. Juicy?
I think it should go into X.
You know what? in honor of Whip, because he keeps saying that Resident Evil 4 shouldn't have been remade prior to Code Veronica, that tells me that he really loves this game. So that being said,
what did he rank it? He did give it a ranking, didn't he?
Yeah,
he gave it an A.
Yeah. So I'm gonna put it at a D.
Just it is on.
Just
it is.
Just for the fact that he insulted, or he didn't insult. He said it should have came out before RE4 remake. No, you insult me with that. I heard that health is a pain in Code Veronica. Oh shit, didn't know that. But yeah, that's our tier list, guys. Maybe you guys agree? Don't agree? Comment down below. Ring the notification bell. That way you know when we go live. Follow all of our social media pages that are down in the description. I think I got Whip tagged down there too, so you can check him out. He does podcasts, talks about animes, does a couple of live streams here and there. I think he's currently playing through Cyberpunk. What else is there, guys?
Well, he might jump into the PS2 genre. It sounds like so.
Oh yeah,
give him a watch, guys.
For sure. Juicy, did you have anything planned with him that we're gonna do on our side or not yet?
So coming up on our side, of course, the Bleach 1000-Year Blood War arc is coming out.
There we go.
Monday for us, gentlemen. And so I want to watch that and give a decent, not a reaction. I don't want a reaction to it, but I want us to kind of give our thoughts on it. I was hoping maybe Monday evening or possibly Tuesday, us coming together like, okay, everybody's had a chance to watch it. What are your thoughts on it? Is it as good as the comeback was? Yeah. Similar to what Whip and I are doing on his channel for My Hero Academia on Saturdays. Yeah. So be sure to catch us on those.
Yeah, we'll probably do that on Tuesdays. That way we'll let a day pass. That way, spoilers. So we'll probably just do it. We'll just do it the day after, then we'll go from there. But I'm all for that. But yeah, so I think that wraps things up, and I'm gonna end this stream and refire up the stream again to play some Resident Evil 3, and hopefully I beat it tonight, because that's the goal. But yeah, hope you guys enjoy. Have a good night.